Hello, everybody. This is Tyrone Morrison coming to you. And I want to ask you this question. What does it mean to be salt and light? And why is this important to learn how to be salt and light in our world today? You know, as I ask this question, I'm reminded of the verse in Matthew chapter 5 when Jesus is seen here giving his famous Sermon on the Mount. And one thing that he starts out with is he tells believers, or his followers, I should say, to be salt and light in the world. Now, if you think about salt, salt is something that is used to preserve or add flavor. You know, I'm somebody who likes to cook, and I would oftentimes use salt to add some flavor to the meat and also season the meat that I cook. I happen to like to be somebody who grills a lot, so I use salt to season the meat, but it preserves and it brings flavor to that meat. And really what that's talking about in terms of being salt is actually preserving the values and the principles seen in the Word of God. And today, you know, we are living in a world that has lost all sense of its morale. It seems like people aren't living according to principles and values. But as believers, we get to preserve the values and principles that are seen in the Word of God. And that really guides how we conduct ourselves and how we choose to live our life. Which leads to the second part Jesus tells us to do, is to be light in the world. Now, when you think about what light does, light illuminates darkness. And if you think about that word darkness, the word darkness in the Hebrew could actually refer to being in a state of chaos where there's no order. But light brings illumination. And when the light's turned on, then we can start to organize things and bring order to this chaos. And really, when Jesus says be the light of the world, he's really referring back to in the beginning in Genesis chapter 1 when God said, let there be light. Now, in Genesis chapter 1, it gives off the image of how the world was really in a state of chaos. There wasn't any order to things. So God said, let there be light. And by turning on the light, then God releases his word. Now the word brings order to the chaos, and God is able to create the cosmos. He's able to create the world and bring order to things. And that's what really light does, is it illuminates areas of darkness. So now order can be established. Now order can be brought in. So when Jesus is saying, be light in the world, he's saying, cause illumination to happen. And there should be a stark difference between darkness and light. So what does that look like for us? When we're living as light, number one, we are reflecting the light of Christ in the world. So how we are conducting ourselves, how we are treating people, how we are living our lives should cause light that illuminates through us, in and through us, and brightens up dark areas in our world. So how can that look like? Well, Jesus goes into depth about here. He talks about really our attitudes and how our attitudes of our heart. In Matthew chapter 5, he also talks about going the second mile with people and really loving your enemies. That's such an important part, and specifically in today's culture where a lot of places that we are seems like it's in darkness. People are fighting being on the right or the left, and it seems like things have become darker in our society. Well, we have an opportunity to be light in darkness. We can bring about light in darkness by how we treat people, how we conduct ourselves. Jesus said, by your good works, they shall know you by your good works. So how are we conducting ourselves? Are we being people of integrity? Are we being our authentic selves? We're not trying to be somebody that we're not. We're being our authentic selves. How are we walking in love with people? How are we even greeting people? Is there something about us that brightens somebody else's day?